Hi guys, I'm Cass, also known as Cass Makes Crafts, and this is part 2. I'm not saying it's the final part, but it's at least part 2 of me showing work that I did in college. We're in a slightly different setup. It's against the same green wall, but it's not sunny outside, so I can't sit on the ground, so we're standing. Just try to catch the last bit of light because it's raining. But okay, so in the last video we did art that I was getting rid of because I don't like it and I don't want it, but I explained it, went through what I was doing, and whatever. So now we're to now we're to art that I'm keeping. I just haven't framed it, hung it up, or done anything with it. Because remember, this is also my art, but this is my thesis. And that's a whole nother thing that's gonna take me a long time to put together. Because when I do my thesis, you're gonna hear my fucking essay about it, okay? We're going in. I have pages of information on every single one of these pieces. It's blood, sweat, and tears went into my thesis, okay? So all of these pieces are not my thesis. That rhymed, I didn't mean it to, but they're not my thesis, okay? Also, this is a side note, but I just want to point out that the Van Gogh, this is a Van Gogh sunflower painting that's on my shirt. It's the same one that's on my arm. That's why I got this shirt. I got it at the Van Gogh exhibit. I have opinions about the Van Gogh exhibit. That's a different thing. But I have a shirt with my tattoo on it, and I have a tattoo on my shirt because this is my favorite one. My favorite Van Gogh, I should say. Anyway, let's get started. Piece number 1. It does not have a name. I didn't name anything but my thesis, by the way, because it's not that big a deal. You just like name it. You name in art school, you name the project name, because these aren't like your masterworks or whatever, right? Okay, so this was a still life. It's in colored pencil and possibly watercolor. I super don't remember because this is from freshman year. Does it say? It doesn't say what project it was, but I do know for sure this was on freshman year, and I know for sure it was art. It was drawing 1, because of the teacher. I remember having an argument with my professor about this one, because okay, it was supposed to be a realistic still life, right? So she brought us like cloth and like a bunch of random shit, like orbs, ornaments, weird succulent flowers, like whatever, and you had to do a still life of it, right? And colored pencil. Maybe it was only colored pencil. Maybe I did a watercolor wash at the base though. We'll see. But it's definitely colored pencil, okay? And she was mad at me because I made it too colorful, because if you can't tell, all of these have the color of the rainbow on them. And she was like, that is not how they really look. I do not believe I have the original picture for this. I'll look, because you know I took a picture of it. I did not sit there and draw this without a picture. But she's not wrong, and she is valid. I really liked my colored pencils and wanted to use more of them. So I was like, what if I make it all rainbowy and like it's all reflecting light? I still got an A, but she for real was like, why? This is not realistic. And I was like, but it's right, it's just weird colors. Like, it's proportionally correct. And she was like, I'm tired of you, go away. Valid. But I like it. I really like it. I know it's just a still life, but the colors make me happy, so I'm still pleased with it to this day. So we kept her. I guess I'll show you this. This is a sneak peek of my thesis. So I made detailed sketches of my ideas for what my thesis pieces would be. So if you can't tell, this is the sketch for that. This is an Irish mermaid. It's called a Marrow. And she's caught in a fisherman's net and she lost her hat. I really like this sketch, that's why I kept it. It's just pencil and then pen on top of it. And I really liked it. I hung it up in my studio, in senior studio. I hung up like sketches I really liked in there. So I'm very proud of this one. I kept this one. I do want to put it up on my wall eventually, but I want to talk about what's wrong with it, but I'll save that for the thesis because there's one thing about this that I didn't change for that either. I just kept it the same and it just bothers the fuck out of me. Let me know in the comments if you can figure out what's wrong. What's missing? Something's missing. Anyway, my teacher pointed it out to me and I said, too late. Too late. This was also from Art 1. This is a life drawing. She made us go outside. And this is the same teacher that the colorful still life was from. So she made us go outside and draw trees. I didn't mind, I enjoyed it. So this is pencil and ink wash, which is just ink mixed with water, if you're wondering. So I drew this tree and she really liked the trunk, and then she told me my leaves did not match my tree because I went for a realistic tree and illustrative leaves. And I said, but I didn't want to draw leaves. So that's where we're at with that, you know? It says, on the back it says, Project 11 Part 2. I don't know what Part 1 was, but anyway. But yeah, I didn't feel like drawing trees. I mean, not trees, leaves. Didn't feel like it. So here we are. This is a practice self-portrait. And it was mainly, it wasn't for like a self-portrait project. This was to practice my, some new watercolors that I got. And I decided to make them a self-portrait because I can't doodle. Fun fact about me, I'm too perfectionist about stuff. So I can't just like doodle. It has to be a finished drawing or I'll die. So instead of just going through all my colors just to like see what they look like, I made a self-portrait. And then this professor was like, that's a lot. And I was like, correct, but this is how I process things. So this is a watercolor self-portrait practice. I really like it. I think it's a nice practice. I think it's cool. And I like all the colors I used. I really like colors when it comes to watercolor and colored pencil. I really like using more colors than you see to make it, I think it gives it more depth and I think it makes it more fun. So that's why I kept her. I like her. This is another self-portrait. I did a lot of self-portraits because let me tell you, the easiest model is yourself. Let me tell you, it is annoying to work with other people trying to get them to do what you see in your head. So this is my self-portrait. What's fun about this is it's drawn in silver, not the color silver, the metal silver. So we did a unit in drawing, does it say on the back? Nope. So we did a unit in one of my upper level drawing classes where you get a stick of silver that is like the size of a pencil lead basically, but it's pure silver. And you treat your paper with this special, it's not really paint and it's not really pigment. It's something to create friction so that when your stick of silver rubs against it, it works like a pencil. And so we all had to treat our papers like this. Your paper had to be this size. And then what you could do while you were mixing the like thing to put on the paper is you could add a little bit of color to it. I'm pretty sure we used watercolors to do it, I think. But you had to make it very light. That's why this one is like a baby blue. because if you make it too dark, you won't be able to see the silver, because the silver is very light. It's lighter than like a normal pencil, which is why I'm glad I'm holding it up against a window right now, because it makes it look dark. But if you had this in normal room lighting, it's very hard to see, because that's just the nature of drawing in silver. But I really like drawing in silver. I thought it was really cool. And basically what I did was I combined a self-portrait, which I like doing because my whole thing is drawing people. That's like what I did my thesis in. So self-portrait, and then I also, if we remember from last time, I had those Rorschach ink paintings that I did that were like really quick and easy, that I did as like a cheat. So I decided to draw one of them and then just kind of flip my face like it's part of the Rorschach test. So that's what happened with this. And then probably the podcast episode isn't out yet, but in my podcast Art School Archives, where I talk about art school, this painting, this isn't a painting, this drawing is mentioned in the episode where I talk about art students and all the different kinds, because there's an awful student that I was in school with who did some bullshit around this specific project, and I bring it up in my podcast. So if you're wondering, this is what I did for said project. I honestly don't know if the episode will be out, but if it's not out, then you can go from this video to go watch that episode and find out about all the different types of art school students. But yeah, I'm really happy with this. I think it turned out really nice, and that's why I kept it. This I did my junior year as one of my final projects in drawing. I don't like it. I just want to preface this. I don't like it. I don't like how it turned out. I don't. I really got tired at the end of junior year. And I was like, I just need to make something. And I just need to talk my way to an A, which is what I did. But I don't like it. I keep it because of nostalgia. Allow me to explain. So, there's nothing written on the back. I don't know what the project was. I don't know what the prompt was. I don't remember. But basically, this is 3 bedrooms stacked on top of each other, and then the people who occupy their rooms. And this is nostalgic because this is my best friend in college's bedroom from her college apartment, and this is the 2 of us on her bed. This is my boyfriend in college, who is now my husband, sitting over there playing a video game. But this was his college dorm room. So this is me and him on his bed, and then this was my college room. So this is me on my bed. So that's why it is very nostalgic to me, because it's a snapshot of what our bedrooms look like. And I always find it fascinating how like people's bedrooms change over time, because like your decorations change as you age. So that's why I'm keeping this. That's why I like this. But I don't like my execution, and I don't like my colors. I think I could have drawn it much more realistically and it looked nicer. And I think this is done in, this is done in watercolor and pen. And I don't like the colors I used. I would have used different colors. I just don't like them. I think this was a good concept. Also, if you're wondering, this is like plants. Like these read much more as plants than like these do. This is supposed to be plants to like fill in the blank spaces, you know? But I didn't really like it. I talked my way into a better grade by saying that nostalgic stuff. And even my art teacher, my art professor was like, it's not your best work. And I was like, you're correct, but I'm tired. So this is what you're getting. Because let me tell you, shit gets tiring. Junior year is hard. Junior year is supposed to be your hardest year. And for me, I feel like it was. Yeah. But kept her for nostalgia. Probably not gonna hang her. She's kind of big. I don't know. Maybe if I cut her down. We'll see. this was a set of drawings and I only kept one because I only liked one, and that was this one. So this, I know that I was showing chiaroscuro, but that's all I remember. So chiaroscuro, that is like when you have a very dark like black background and then you only have the light touching the important parts of the picture. I forget I forget the century that it was really popular, but like after medieval paintings, before Rococo paintings ish. It's been a hot minute since I've been in art school, okay? But I was trying to show that. So black background, this is actually a piece of black mat board that I cut to the size of a piece of paper. And then I used pastels and charcoal to do this drawing. And basically it's me in a very contorted position. And I forget what theme I was going with for why I was in this position and what the other ones were. But I think it looks cool. I think it looks weird. I think it looks creepy. It kind of looks like it's giving the girl from The Ring with all her hair, and then she's like in some weird ass position, you know? But that's what I was going for. And then we're going for a chiaroscuro, so can't really see the background, can't really see what's going on, you just see what's important, which is the figure with like really bright highlights and really dark shadows. I like it. I think it's weird. I think it's cool, so I kept it. This is part 2 of my being fascinated by bedrooms. Oh, I have 2 pieces for this. Plants, just keep that there. So this is not finished. Will I go back and finish it one day? Possibly. But I was doing I took a picture of my bedroom. This was my bedroom junior year of college. And I basically was trying to draw it realistically and proportionally using like, what would this be? 2-point perspective, and drawing it as accurately as I could to try to make it like a snapshot in time. And I started, but it was taking a really long time, and then I kind of got sidetracked. But I really like it. I would kind of like to finish it one day, because again, I really like these like snapshot in time, you know, things, because I just find it interesting to look at how you used to live, you know? So I have this, and this I actually have the picture for because I printed it out because I needed to do my perspective. This is the picture. So this is I was in an apartment. I was in an off-campus apartment, but it was college housing. And this is my full bed in my tiny room in my apartment that I shared with 3 other people. But I super decorated my dorm rooms. I really liked it. I think it made it fun to live in. So, and then all the red lines are me with a ruler making all of the 2-point perspective lines, and then taking that and transferring it over to this bigger sheet of paper. But I think even unfinished, it's cool. It's a snapshot in time. Maybe I'll go back and finish it eventually. Who knows? We'll see. But I really like it. This one's big. So this is on, if you believe it or not, it was on a bigger sheet of paper, because she gave us, we had to use this big ass sheet of paper, and I was like, no. And so I would cheat and just make giant borders. Like, these are 3-inch borders, and it was actually longer. I said fuck you. I said no, I'm not painting that much. So this is still life. It is watercolor as a base, and then white ink and charcoal and colored pencils / pastels on top. There's a bunch of mixed media. Do I have what it was on the back? I do not. But this was from, it was either freshman or sophomore year, I don't remember. But I really like it. I think it turned out really nice. I really like how I did the colors. and I just like it, so I kept her. She is huge. I really need to cut this picture down more, but anyway. This is a life drawing sketch where we were showing movement. So basically the model would stand still for 2 or 3 minutes, and then they would slightly move, and you would just move, you just redraw her to make it like motion, kind of like a motion blur. And I just like the way this one looked. I think it's cool. I like the little motion. So I kept that one. And then I kept this other one. This one says Jessica Movement 1. I think that was her name. The model's name was Jessica. So this was another one where she went from laying down one way to laying down another way. And I just think it's cool. I usually don't do like motion drawings. And I like the way this one turned out, and it's people. I like drawing people. So I kept these two. We did a bunch of these, but I just kept my favorite ones. This is Jesse Watercolor. I think that was his name. But this is a watercolor that I did of one of our life drawing models, who's apparently, his name was Jesse. I like it. I think it turned out cool. Got a little ball sack right there. It's always interesting to paint someone's private parts, let me tell you. And it's cool until you make eye contact with them. You're just doing your own thing, you're just minding your business until you make eye contact with them, and you're like, I'm looking at your pee-pee. Please look over there while I look there, okay? It's whatever. But I thought it turned out nice. I thought it turned out cool. I think I used either yellow or green too much because he's a little sickly looking. I think it turned out cool, and I like it, and I like this little butt drip that I had going on there. I thought I had a little bit of flair, so I kept him. Another life drawing. This is drawing focusing on sighting. I'm not entirely sure what this meant by sighting. I think it just meant and then fucking drawing, I think. This one of our models, I drew her sitting in a chair. I like it because I think it's very close to proportionally accurate, and I like the shading that I got on her. This would have been drawn in one sitting, so I like it. I like the shading. I think it looks nice. I even got a little bit of chair in there. A lot of times when you're doing life drawing, you just have them floating in weird positions because you don't get time to put in whatever they're sitting on. But I got a chair in there a little bit. I like it. This one's huge, and it took me 15 years. I kept this because it's very proportionally accurate, and I'm happy about that. But also, look how big this is. It took me so long. It took me so long to make this fucking thing. This is charcoal. It's all charcoal. And it's a still life where she had a chair and boxes and a billion books and pieces of wood. That's what this is pieces of wood. And she said, charcoal, make it as realistic as possible. And I said, yes, ma'am, even though I want to die. And what must have happened, ooh, what's it say on the back? Project 14. But I think what must have happened is she said that we can't put a border on it because you know my ass would have put a border on it, make it smaller. And I was like, oh, okay. But everyone really liked it. My professor really liked it. She said it's really accurate. So I kept it. It's really good. I'm really proud of it, but it hurt me in my soul. But yeah, so I kept her. And I like her a lot. Okay, this one is my first project in all of art school, Project Un. And this is my drawing one, Project Un. And this was a still life that she used. We could use whatever we wanted. we could make a still life of whatever we wanted, and it just needed to fit on this piece of paper. And it's basically like a, let's see where your drawing skills are at. This is project 1. She's evaluating us to see where our skills are at, right? So I made this in my dorm room, and then I took a picture of it. So this is a pillow with some birds on it. This is a tiny bird cage that I thought was aesthetic. This is a little dream catcher. This is like a book. This is actually a black beanie that says Bad Wolf, which is a Doctor Who reference. And I just like set this on a blanket on the ground, took a picture of it, and then proceeded to draw it. And the whole thing is that she strictly told us never to take pictures of still lifes because she said that you can always tell when they're drawn from a picture. And I said, wanna bet? Also, this is pencil and maybe charcoal, but definitely pencil. And I was like, wanna bet? And then I turned it in, didn't say anything. She thought I drew it from life. And then like 3 months later, she was telling someone off about taking a picture, and I went, hey, do you remember my first picture that you liked a lot? And she goes, yeah, I remember it. And I go, that was from a picture. And then I walked away. But I kept it for nostalgia, basically, and also to be like, so this is where I was as day 1 freshman in college, which I also don't think was bad. To be fair, I did do AP art in school, which is art 5, technically, like high school. I did AP art and I got a 5 in drawing. My art teacher in high school told me to do 2D media, which is another option, because you have to emphasize an AP art and some sort of media. And 2D media means that you can do multiple media. Drawing means you can only do like pencil, charcoal, pen, that sort of thing. And she was like, I think you have a better chance of getting a 5 if you do multiple media. And I said, no. And she goes, but drawing's harder. And I go, so. And then I got a 5. And the thing that sucks is you get your AP scores after school's out. Like you get them in the summer. And so this was my senior year. So I like turned in you have to send in all these pieces to AP, whoever the fuck grades them. So I sent them all in, and she was like, I think you'll get a 4, because you can get a 1 through a 5, right? A 3 is passing, but you want like a 4 or 5. So sent them off. She was like, I think you'll get a 4. Got my grades back, got a 5. Posted that shit on social media and said, suck it. That's what I fucking thought. Anyway. Okay, this is the last drawing of this section of this episode. This was my final for drawing 1. It is project 16. And I do remember the prompt for this. So this one was, you had to use a piece of paper this big, I think. And you had to show 2 things morphing into each other. That was like her whole thing. You could use whatever media you wanted. You could make whatever you wanted, morph into whatever you wanted, but it had to be morphing. And you had to show, I think it was 6 stages of morph. I think. Or maybe it was 5 stages of morph. We had to show a certain number of stages of morphing. So I did a spider web into a skull. I hate the spider webs. Hate them. Gross. Drew them not realistically at all. Hate it. But I really like the skull. I think the skulls are cool, which is why I kept it. And then this background is actually, I took different colors of inks that we had in the classroom, and I just like dotted them and like kind of splattered them across the page just to kind of just give it like a sepia tone. And then I used charcoal and pastel on top of that to do the actual drawing. So I really like the skulls, and that's why we're keeping it. Don't pay attention to the spider webs. Don't ask me about them. Don't worry about it. We've learned from our mistakes. So that's part 2. Those are the pieces I kept. And I will say those are the physical drawing pieces I kept. I do have pictures of some other things. And then like I took 2 photography courses, so I have pictures of those. I took ceramics. That was a hell on earth, because of my teacher, not because of ceramics. Ceramics itself, like it. My teacher, rot. I did do more in printmaking, I think. Maybe I went over all my printmaking though, because I only got in 1 class of printmaking. I wanted to take more, but scheduling. But that is part 2 of things that I'm keeping. There will at least be a part 3 of other random stuff that I find in my apartment before we start doing thesis. And also, this is not my whole thesis. These like 6 things, this is not all of them. My thesis is 11 pieces. 11. I don't know if that sounds like a lot or a little to you, but just know that that's a lot for something this intricate. Like if you were doing like a multiple series, kind of like a pop art, like Andy Warhol, a billion cans of Campbell's soup in a billion different colors, then it wouldn't be a lot. But for detailed drawings, that's a lot. And there's also so much tea with this. I have so much tea about this thesis and about how hard I had to argue to get this thesis to pass. Like I passed. I got an A. But for me to get to this point, I had to argue with my professor so damn much. So damn much. Specifically about this mermaid. And this has a companion piece, a second mermaid piece that you haven't seen. I had to argue about it. Anyway, that's another story from another time. So stay tuned for my next one in this series of going through my college art. Listen to Art School Archives, where I talk much more in depth about what it's like to be an art school, what it's like to be an art student, what do you have to deal with. I'm going to go into all the different classes that I took, all the different classes that were offered, all sorts of stuff. I also will say this is all my perspective, all my opinion, whatever the fuck. And I didn't go to a real art school. I went to a school that offered art. I'm sure if you went to like SCAD or something, the Savannah College of Art and Design, it's SCAD if you don't know, you would have had a much different experience. But this is my experience. So I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.